Okay, so we're going to hit them with our normal 3, 2, 1 clap, and that sounds a little bit something like 3, 2, 1 clap, 3, 2, 1 clap. Okay.
I can't clap that hard because I scraped my hand when I fell.
Just smack your other butt.
Smack the other side of my
Sorry,
butt?
yeah, the side of the butt that's not injured.
Oh, yes. I don't think
I have so many butts.
I don't think she was clapping the cheeks, man. I think this is
And welcome to the show.
Welcome to another episode of Geekly Reveal.
It's that show that has
about cold
hotter
opens.
wings and even hotter questions. No, that's hot ones. Welcome to another episode of Weekly Reveal. It's that show that brings you geeky news on a weekly basis. As always, it's me, it's your host Dom, aka Brother Dom, aka Hot Pilgrim, and once again I am joined by the Cheek Queen. Tell the people who you are.
I don't know if I can live up to that title.
Well, you have to pass it off to Captain Claps his hands next. I realized halfway through you don't want to call somebody Captain Clap, so what's
Oh God.
Well, it's like a term for like a captain or cadet, like agent applause. Yes, there we go. Steph.
Captain Claps. I'm sorry.
His
Me,
hands.
Stephanie. I'm Captain Steph on Twitter, the Snowqueer on Tumblr, where I'm yelling about the Magnus Archives 24/7 now, and Hellstuff on Instagram, and the chair has rotated again to include our good friend Eric yet again.
That's right, you spin me right round, baby, right round. I'm spinning right back into the same chair that I've been sitting in. I'm here again. It's me, Eric, Tindy Losi on Twitter.
Have you guys been drinking?
Yes.
Just water.
Okay, because I have, and I didn't know if it was just me or what's going on, but I have some new drinks from Southern Tier. They do their curbside pickup.
Hell yeah.
And this stuff is good. It's canned cocktails. No, I've not got to the gin and tonic yet.
Damn it, I wanted to know.
But this is called Vodka Madras, and it has, like, I don't know, red drink in it? I forget, like, cranberry or something.
Like Cherry Wave or something?
No, just like juice. But it's vodka-based, so the can is dark
wine
red.
punch?
No, I mean, like, fruit juice, like actual fruits. Like cranberry juice or something, or
Okay.
or
Yeah,
I don't
like
know.
high C at least.
High. No, dog, it's Tang. I'm sure I could. It's not even on sale anymore, so I can't even look it up. But I also got some vodka spritzers. But the can is dark red and gold and beautiful, but the drink is very pink. So, like, there goes my last shred of manliness. Again, it was only one shred to begin with, which I was fine with. But how have you two been doing this week?
Losing my mind, you know. Just staying inside.
Fair.
The whatchamacall, like we talked last week about how time has just become like a weird blur, and it continues to be that way.
Yeah.
This morning I was like, oh good, gonna get some stuff done on Saturday, and then I was like, shit. It's not Saturday anymore.
It's also now very hot, and, you know...
It's summer all of a sudden?
Yeah, didn't make any sense to me, and then I realized, oh right, it's actually May. Time has passed.
There's that thing that, like, we're so used to everything being terrible and being panicked about, like, the world ending for one of potentially several ways now.
Yeah,
that,
murder
like,
hornets are a thing.
Yeah, I'm
Murder
a fan
hornets,
of that new plot of
pandemic,
this year.
possibly asteroids. That's always a threat. And global warming. So we're like,
And
oh
aliens
man,
now, too.
yeah, oh yeah. So we're like, oh man, it's hot. I can't believe this global warming. Like, wait, no. It's actually supposed to be hot right now. This is actually. It's not like dog in a house on fire. This is fine. It's like, no, this is actually, this is fine.
God, like, at least, like, all of us who've been playing Animal Crossing are getting really good at catching giant wasps
It's true.
with nets, so...
I gotta get me a big old bug net, big as my head.
Hey, you know, the Pokemon people from the past are capturing Beedrill, so... It's just wild how there's something new every month.
And every single thing is the kind of thing that I, as an editor, would, like, have struck through with red pen, like, immediately upon reading, because it was just too much of a stretch.
That's not realistic. Let's stick to the first 2 plots that you've come up with for this year. We don't need to add in the Death Hornets.
Yeah, the Death Hornets and the near miss of the asteroid, that's just a little much.
Can we also mention how, like, apparently Kim Jong-un died, but then actually didn't and just showed back up?
Oh yeah,
Allegedly.
for a while we were going to have, like anime GF dictator.
Yeah.
Boss bitch Twitter was gonna lose their minds.
We need more female dictators.
Yeah, that's what our true equality is.
Oh,
I
goodness.
believe the official story now is that he was hiding out in like quarantine from COVID-19 with his 2,000 member harem. Like,
is that less believable than the reality we're currently living in? Again,
no.
The government brought out aliens, and we're like, nah, dog, y'all ain't getting away from these stimulus checks. Which, holy shit, I forgot to talk about it last week. I got my stimulus check in the mail, or the notification that I got my check. It doesn't matter. I have direct deposit.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pretty sure the signature from the commander-in-chief was written with a Sharpie. Because it was too thick to be a pen. It was far too thick to be a pen.
He reportedly doesn't sign anything if it's not a Sharpie. Like, whether it's because of his motor skills or because he wants to present some sort of big Sharpie energy.
Yeah. And, like, and look, I'm one of the people who, I remember when the Kansas City Chiefs, a terrible name, they should just be Kansas City, when they won the Super Bowl. I think it's who won the Super Bowl, and people were laughing at him because he said Kansas City was in the wrong state. I was like, guys, this guy commits terrible crimes on a daily basis. This is the one time I'm going to be like, lots of people make that. You shouldn't, as a president. You should know better. So I'm like, yo, he just, like, and he stoked racism yesterday. I don't care about this little minor thing. But I'm gonna die on this hill, this little minor thing.
That's how ugly his signature looks, like a fucking earthquake, like the Richter scale. Like,
there's literally something new every day for him. Like, it's why I had to kind of like tone back how much I read of like political news, just because it's just so much.
I wish this was like the biggest controversy that happened. I wish I could say like, wow, can you believe it? This guy's signature is terrible, and that was the story. It wasn't the rest.
Remember when Obama wore a tan suit?
Had Dijon mustard on a sandwich.
The fact that you could draw a line from that to today is alarmingly possible. But let's talk about some pop culture news instead.
Me and my roommate did performatively burn our letters when they came, nice. And proceeded to set off our smoke alarm because the smoke alarm is directly next to our bathroom instead of anywhere near our kitchen.
That's weird.
That's good design. It's probably
a good place for it, yeah.
It's like, we're in this time where I'm all for performative actions if they're not like what people are saying is like the woke thing, like actual activism, because you do activism, like you've done physical things.
I have activized.
Yeah, you've activized.
She's
like,
been
you
activated.
Do unions. you're like an almond. Like you have like you do the union stuff. Like you do real things. But
got
like
arrested that one time.
I wasn't gonna bring it up, but I'm fine if you do. I didn't want to be the guy, But so like if someone's like, you know what, this isn't gonna change the world, but it makes me feel better. You know what? I think we all need to feel a little bit better right now. That's all I gotta say about that.
It's true. Anyway,
can you imagine the whiplash though of like the start of this podcast to like political talk? Like we're all over the place. I like it. This is a good feeling. I like it.
I was just gonna say. Like, all I was gonna say was we were complaining before we started recording about how much we had to talk about and how long this episode was going to end up being, and then we spent the first 10 minutes talking about something that wasn't
even in the
list.
schedule. Yeah.
Oh no, that wasn't me. Not only was I complaining about the length of this episode, that was also me giving up on it being short. So, but let's talk about news.
News.
We each have something to talk about in a way, but I know one thing that struck all of our fancy was theaters and Trolls World Tour. And just the state of cinema going forward whenever all this stuff blows over.
I can't believe it was Trolls World Tour that did it.
Can you believe? Yeah, honestly, like...
It sounds like you're joking still.
Yet again. So the real news behind this bizarre factoid is that Trolls World Tour did, like, massively well in it, like, at-home release.
We all know why that is, too.
Yeah, we know why it is. It's because the McElroys were in Trolls
Exactly.
War 4.
Look, I'm not gonna. There's probably some truth to that. You have all of their podcast fans sitting around like, I'll see if they're in it at all. That'll be fine.
I mean, like, obviously, like, this, like, correlation and causation error behind this is that families are at home with their screaming children, who they will do anything to
just for a moment of quiet.
Even the smallest moment.
I'll pay money, you can watch the Trolls movie as many times as you want for the next 24 hours.
Yeah,
like...
Because even, like, the most expensive movie rental places are charging you $20 to, like, you see a movie for 24 hours. That's still better than it would take to take a family. Like, let's say you need to take, like, 5 people to the movies.
It's like $100.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. Because the kids are going to want popcorn and drinks and candy and stuff like that.
And with an at-home rental, you can watch it multiple times, I believe, at least.
Yeah. You have
24 hours to watch it as long as you... Or like,
yeah.
You can just watch it on loop.
Yeah. It's 48 hours to start, and then as many times as you want within the 24 hours once you start it.
Yeah,
which is
like...
Way better deal. Way better.
Like, you're already getting a better deal, even if the pandemic hadn't necessitated it.
Yeah.
I mean, even from just a comfort standpoint, I'm not a germaphobe or anything, but, like, theaters with the lights on are pretty gross. So
yeah,
I at least
even
know,
without
like,
there being a pandemic.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I at least know the state of my own couch. I cannot speak for the seats at my local movie theaters.
My feet don't stick to the floor in any room in my house.
You just haven't watched the right movie yet.
Yuck. But yeah, so the like, I guess, like, the CEO of Universal was bragging about how much money they did at home releases on Twitter, and the CEO of AMC was like, okay, cool, well, no Universal movies are ever going to show in AMC theaters again. Like, fuck you.
Well, cool, AMC will just go out of business then, because that's, like, a ton of movies.
Literally, like cocking the gun and shooting yourself in your foot live on the TL, like...
For no reason, like, just absolute pettiness, like, oh, what a poor idea. Like, you can hear in the background of collectively every stockholder, like, slapping their forehead, like, what are you doing, bro?
Yeah. I mean, it's very similar to Elon Musk tweeting that his stock, the Tesla stock, was too high. Like, that...
Well, that's how you tank your stock so you can buy more of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's just illegal shit, but, like,
Eventually,
maybe that's what the AMC guy was trying to do. You don't know.
I mean, like, eventually could Elon Musk go to jail for, like, Martha Stewart fraud? Like, literally for any reason.
Yes, but he's rich and nobody's ever going to look into it, so...
Like, he's already gotten fined by the FEC, like, multiple times for this nonsense, like, this, like, tweeting nonsense, like...
I mean, that's what happens when you watch too much Rick and Morty and think you're as smart as Rick because you have a similar sense of humor and have guest starred on the show, but that doesn't mean that you are as smart as that fictional character is, or even as smart as you're supposed to be.
I've got a solution that would fix all of these problems we have just discussed.
The guillotine.
Well, that, but also just shut down Twitter. Just turn it off. Just no more Twitter.
I mean,
Twitter's canceled. No more.
Twitter's canceled.
That would have saved AMC theaters.
Yes.
What's not going to save AMC theaters probably is, like, putting up plexiglass between the seats.
Yeah, that was, like, their plan for reopening, right? Is enforcing social distancing, like, operating at lower capacities and putting up plexiglass between seats and just, like, making an already uncomfortable, like, making an already uncomfortable experience even more uncomfortable.
Like, if you can't, like, make out with, like, be like a horny teenager making out with your significant other in the movie theater because there's plexiglass between your two seats, like, that's a key demographic of movie theaters, I'm pretty sure.
But
yeah, yes, I think actually that's true.
Yeah, but at the same time, the Bible Belt will love it.
This is the Mike Pence preferred viewing.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, because it's just going to spread more germs. Like, if the floors are anything to go by, I don't think that plexiglass is going to, like, I don't know, I lean left and right when I'm in the movie theater. Like, normally, I'm with somebody, with my partner, so, like, I'm leaning to her. But if I were to, like, lean on plexiglass, the thing before I, like, lean over, I'm going to look over and see, like, someone else's, like, grease sweat mark.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like the forehead print.
Yeah, like, you see it, like, airplanes and stuff. So it's like, you know what, like, also, last time I checked, an infrastructure change like that to your theater is going to cost some money.
A hell of a lot of
you know where they
money.
make their money? Popcorn and movie ticket sales. Like, man, that's going to cost $40 to go see the newest Avengers movie? Nah,
No
dog.
thanks.
I think I'll go to the place that's still showing Universal movies.
And I mean, it's even, you know, for the studios themselves, it saves them money to not have to distribute to, like, theaters like that. I mean, at this point, it might not even be that big of a savings because it's all digital to them anyways,
don't
for
they
the most
charge-
part.
But they don't
Yeah,
have to
I'm pretty sure
ship
they-
anything.
I'm pretty sure they charge the theaters to get it, though. Like, the theaters
Yeah.
pay to get movies, like, release
But
rights to it.
there probably at least has to be, like, marketing deals and stuff that cost them money. Like, for a theater to advertise their movie, like, the theater's probably getting a cut or something. I don't know how that industry works.
If
I'm
I were
not
to
gonna
guess-
pretend.
I don't know either. My only guess is it was kind of like a necessary evil kind of thing, like with GameStop. Like, hey, if we want our movie to like get eyes, it needs to go to the theater, so they'll pay us so they can stay in business, and our payment is, well, most of the ticket sales or something.
But now that streaming is so ubiquitous, it's not really
Even the
needed.
Oscars are letting you do streaming now, which is pretty
Even the
much
Kids'
nail in
Choice
the head.
Awards are doing
Oh
that.
damn!
Someone had that really
The
good
real
take.
arbiter of taste.
Somebody had that really good take about the Oscars, saying like, you know what, we're gonna let streaming movies in, and someone's like, wow, another thing that they said was impossible that we're finding is completely possible now that we don't have another choice. How about that? Because yeah, if they didn't allow streaming movies, Sonic the Hedgehog and Bad Boys 3 are getting nominated for all the Oscars.
Hey, I think Sonic the Hedgehog should win all of the Oscars.
Can you
Best
imagine?
actor goes to Ben Schwartz as Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yo, what a kick in the face that would be to that other guy who does, the one guy who's always like, his face is never in movies. He was like the monkey in Planet
Oh
of the Apes and
yeah,
stuff.
the Andy
What's that dude's name?
Circus.
Yeah, Andy
Poor
Serkis. Who's
fucking
always,
Andy Serkis, who has acted his ass off in every film he's ever been in.
but he's always like a CGI character, so he never gets. Except that one time he was in Avengers and Black Panther.
Oh yeah, and
He was
Like,
he was Claw,
yeah.
right?
yeah, he was Claw. He got pretty wrecked, and didn't he? Didn't he get killed? Didn't
Yeah, he got his arm
Killmonger-
chopped off in the first one, and then Killmonger killed him in the second one.
I mean, with a name like Killmonger, what do you expect?
Expect him to mong some kills.
Some friendship. That's what I expect. It was Michael B. Jordan, damn it. He was the Human Torch, just like Chris Evans. What else in the news? Anything else? Just I think it's mostly just that.
Was that in Evo getting canceled?
Yeah, that's our transition. So Evo got canceled, but then like not actually canceled. They're going to play it online, which if you've ever played any Nintendo video game online, you know that's not going to work very well.
Or any fighting video game online, to be completely honest. Netcode is still not in a great place for
Not with Skullgirls. It's great.
Is
Skullgirls.
that true? Like, I don't actually know
that is
that.
true. I've
Okay.
played it. Even on Wi-Fi, it's pretty good, actually. Their netcode is quite good.
I know netcode has improved over the years, but like that's always been a huge concern, especially like if you're accounting for streaming and different streaming setups and just, you know, the access that different competitors might have to different, you know, variable internet speeds and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, it definitely is a concern. It's not optimal, but there's the fact that a lot of games have come out in the past couple years and have different types of netcode and quality are just kind of hilarious. That all the creators have had access to these things, like not the indies, but like the AAA, like your Tekkens, your Nintendo Fighters. Well, I guess just Smash, Mortal Kombat, DBZF should all have similar levels of netcode, but they simply do not, which is
Yeah.
very interesting.
Well, because each company tries to do it differently, from
Yeah.
what I understand.
Smash Bros is so bad that you basically could have different tier lists for like Wi-Fi versus LAN. Like Ganondorf on LAN is way worse than he is on Wi-Fi. I was listening to an
Oh,
Alpharad
Lord.
video. It's just because his moves are so heavy that he could just throw them out, and they're really easy to react to if you're playing like locally. Like I look at it like, oh, I'll just spot dodge or roll around it or just walk backwards. But on Wi-Fi with the delay, you're like, well, there's no way I can physically dodge this, so I guess I'm dead. Which makes characters like Sonic a lot worse and Mario a lot worse, but like K. Rool's, Ganondorf's and stuff are a little bit better. Ness is just pain everywhere. But yeah, they're going to hold the tournament online, and I've been excited because I've seen a lot more chitter chatter around Skullgirls, which is very nice. That's a very good game. And they even toned down some of the like sexualized content, which is good.
Oh, wow, what a crazy concept.
I don't know why they did that. Like, must have taken a lot of work because it's not 3D models, like it's hand drawn, so they had to like go back and redraw a lot of stuff. Which cool that they did that. Don't get me wrong. Just a weird decision to make like 4 years into a game's lifespan. Like, you know what? Some of these panty shots were too much. Let's clean that back up. Hey, whatever you say. But it still continues to be like a very quality fighting game. That fixes a lot of problems people have with other fighting games. Like, infinite combos are a lot more. It's a lot more difficult to zero to death somebody because you have to. It has infinite combo protection in it. So
the opposite of Tekken.
Yeah, it's opposite of like most fighting games. If you try to infinite somebody, whenever you hit like if it loops at all, it'll make the character glow green and you can like burst out of it, and it keeps getting like more and more tight to the point that you can't even do like the third move in a string without it like channeling that. So you have to like be a lot more creative, so it's kind of cool. But yeah, a lot of things have been canceled this year, so obviously people aren't. EVO's not going to happen. That's a worldwide event, but that's a good note to start supporting your locals whenever like the world opens back up. EVO's not the only show in town.
Video game events.
Yeah.
Specifically, I was like, support your local.
Sorry. So in fighting game terms, they say like your locals are like it's shorthand for saying like your local tournaments and organizations. So if I say, oh, I'm going to locals this weekend, in fighting game terms, people would say, oh yeah, there must be an event like in your hometown or something. Sorry about that. That's what I meant.
No worries.
But yeah, whenever we're able to go outside and congregate, definitely try to support your local tournaments and events and organizers, because EVO has the prestige because we've given it that. And if the fans go to lots of other events like Too Many Games, whatever the one is in the Midwest, I forget the Combo Breaker, they'll get up there and any one of the people start. So, do you guys care about EVO? You watch any of that stuff?
I sometimes will watch the finals.
Wow, I'm sorry. We should have mentioned this from the beginning.
You've got like 3 different spectrums here. You've got Dom, who's very into fighting games and is very into EVO. Me, who I'm just kind of like, I watched some of it. And then Steph, who literally didn't know what the word meant. So...
Like, I know it's video game related, but that's it.
So EVO is the Evolution Tournament, which is a fighting game tournament that happens every year. They have one in Japan, but they have the big one in Las Vegas every year. And people come from around the world to, and I think anyone can enter. Mm-hmm. Like the pools happen, like the tournament pools happen like on site. But yeah, they always have a big announcement every year of what the main games will be, like the main stage games. It's like Tekken 7, Mortal Kombat 11, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. No Marvel this year because they have Marvel 2 Ultimate Marvel. Like Marvel,
they got rid of the new one, but put the old one in.
3 is gone, Ultimate 3 is gone, Infinite is gone, and they went back to 2, the one from the Dreamcast era, because people still like that game.
Wins Marvel,
baby. So it's like it's a very insular community, but it is a lot of video game groups are toxic, but fighting games is one of the more welcoming ones that I've known. Mm-hmm. And they actually get upset. Well, there's a big contingency of people who get upset when people are like racist or sexist or transphobic. I mean, these things still happen, and there's still people who are like, it doesn't really matter, like toughen up like the good old days. But is
this the kind of the community that Sonic Fox would be considered part of? Okay.
Yes. Sonic Fox, they are a fighting game champion. They've won at several video games.
I was gonna say, that's what I thought.
You don't see that a lot. People being good at multiple fighting games, being like champion level at multiple fighting game types. Mm-hmm. But they are, and bring their theatrics there, and they're very polarizing. People either love them or hate them, of all genders and sexualities. But it's like, hey, people are always gonna hate you when you're one of the best.
I was gonna say, like I feel like that's like for me, like I don't go here, but I support them.
Oh yeah, I don't like the games.
And I'm happy for them.
I'm not a big MK and Tekken fan, but when you watch an artist at work, you just have to look.
Is Grand Blue main stage this year?
As whatever main stage will be this year, yes.
Okay,
which is a new Arc Systems Works game, like the people that make Dragon Ball FighterZ, Guilty Gear, and I think the Persona 4 Arena game. Like just wild anime fighters.
Yeah.
If you ever watch a fighting game, you're like, well, I know when someone wins or loses, but I don't know what's happening between the beginning and the end of a match because there's lasers and people flying through the air. it's probably an
an Arc
anime
Systems,
fighter, and it's
yeah.
probably But you should watch it. The fighting game community is very easy to get into from watching. I think a lot of the reason it's one of the more welcoming communities, just since the barrier for entry is normally a lot lower, since you don't need a fancy computer, you need a console that you can get secondhand. I mean, one of the biggest fighting games in the world is Super Smash Bros. Melee, a console for GameCube, a console that started out as 99. It's not an Evo, but it's one of the biggest games.
I was gonna say, let's talk, because they removed it from Evo last
They did,
year.
which I'm happy about, because that game gets on my nerves, but it's still very big and it's had a lot of tournaments. It even will be on the small stages there. But the console was like $99 at launch, and the game was $50, and it's only gone down since then. It's probably harder to find now, but you can do mods and interesting stuff, and they're selling GameCube controllers again. So the barrier of entry to get an old game that's not for sale would still be cheaper than trying to buy a good enough PC to run like League of Legends or Valorant or Overwatch or CS:GO like efficiently, you know. And
I'll
also
correct you on one thing in that sentence, and you do not need a good computer to run League of Legends.
That's true. Riot does a very good job of making sure anyone can play their games because they want everyone to suffer.
Exactly.
But there's like a lot more like people of color, like brown people of color, there in the fighting game scene for one reason or another, socioeconomic reasons. But if you watch like first person shooters, like where's all the brown people? I mean, obviously, where's all the women in all of this? But like, that's weird. There's like, I know that like black guys play games, like where are they at? But I guess they're all in the fighting game community because it's less of a hostile environment. Also, fighting games, there's usually not text chat, so you can't get called the N-word by your opponent when you beat them. So that's probably a boon. But that's enough about Evo. Go check out your fighting games. They're fun. Give them a shot. Y'all played some Animal Crossing this week? There's probably something new with that, right?
Speaking of the video games.
Yeah. Continued to play Animal Crossing.
Continue to just log so many hours of Animal Crossing.
I think I've like probably fallen off a little bit more like of it just because I have so many other games to play. But you are still putting in the work.
Putting in the time.
Yeah.
So that's what so it being May now, we've rolled over to the May, like the summer bugs and fish, which is a little bit depressing that like you have to say goodbye to the previous round of things, but less actually flipped over than I thought was gonna flip over at first.
There's no more tarantulas. That's the big downer.
Yeah, no more tarantulas. But the scorpions are worth just as much. They just move a little bit faster.
I've not seen one yet, so
I've definitely had some scorpion issues. Like, because they will run at you and sting you for daring to approach, but
same.
But like you just don't have quite as much time to like attempt to catch them,
right,
as they run at you. But the same like catching principle of like kind of scooching up to them does work.
What about that really fast dragonfly?
I've not caught the really fast dragonfly yet.
It's very fast, and I cannot catch up to it.
Yeah, I'm very annoyed with the fast dragonfly, banded dragonfly. But yeah, so new bugs and fish. Most stuff is not too, like, other than that, like, there's not too much that's different.
There was the May Day event.
Oh yeah, there was a May Day event where Tom Nook acknowledged that May Day is an international workers' holiday.
Yeah.
Oh, that was real?
Yes, that was real.
Did you do the puzzle?
Yes, the maze that was clearly built for a child.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had to do it. I beat it the first time, but I didn't save enough fruit to get to the last like pile of bell vouchers, so I refused to leave until I did it again.
Well, bad news for you about the
whole
child thing there.
Yeah. You get it on the first try.
I sure did.
Well, my roommate didn't even finish it, so.
Well, that's unfortunate.
But
it was cute.
Yeah, it was cute. It was a little puzzle, like kind of a logic puzzle. They took away all your items, and you had to kind of like there were like strategic holes in the ground that you could only jump over at some point, like from different directions, and
you kind of had to puzzle your way into like conserving resources, and then like at the end you meet up with a character that like fans of the series would recognize, so that was cool.
The briefcase he gives you? Is there anything to that?
It's the briefcase he has in the first Animal Crossing game when he is on the train with you. He's the first person, or first, like, character you technically meet, I guess, in Animal Crossing on the GameCube.
Well, that's cute. So there's, like, nothing... It's not like I should deliver this...
I mean, I don't know, but...
Okay, I wasn't sure if there was, like, something... It's just sitting in my living room right now. My living room, which is to say...
The pyramid?
The pyramid room.
Yes!
But I wasn't sure if I should be, like, giving it to Tom Nook
No.
To get a reward or something.
It's most likely just a, piece of furniture, a little callback. They like to do that in those games, so...
Sweet. Adorable.
Yeah.
We love to see it. But yeah, other than that, house continues to look pretty good. Crossbreeding some flowers.
I considered stealing some from you, but I didn't. You're welcome.
Ugh. Well, I've decided to start, I'm replanting the spirals that I made in front of my airport to be all black lilies, but I only have so many black lilies right now, so it's a work in progress.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, that's the Animal Crossing update.
Oh, good. I don't know shit about Animal Crossing. But that's alright.
Yeah.
It's alright, it's all good. I spent, over 1 million bells on turnips today.
I didn't devote that much resources to it.
The only thing I know about Animal Crossing is that Isabelle is black because her brother is black.
That's fair.
I guess that's true.
What's his name? Digby?
That is his name.
Cool.
But other than Animal Crossing, I just continued to play my slew of RPGs and stuff that I bought. Started up another run of XCOM 2.
Ooh, that's a good-ass game.
It sure is. Reminded, first couple missions reminded me again of why I sometimes get frustrated with that game. But I had one unit that was promoted and was therefore my best unit, and then just not even moving her or something, and then they just spawn enemies right next to her that just immediately kill her, and I'm like, well, that's not even fair. That's literally random. So
cursed content.
Little things like that, but it's a very good game.
Yeah, the question of save scumming, which is basically you save before something happens, and then if a bad outcome happens, you reload to a point where it didn't happen. Just for those who don't know the terminology, it's frequently used in games where you could die a lot, or games where there might be randomness, such as in XCOM, where it says you have an 85% chance of hitting this opponent. You're like, well, I need to, and then you miss I'm gonna reload and try that again.
Yeah.
In some games, the RNG is set from the time you press start. Like in Slay the Spire, as soon as you start a battle, the RNG, your deck is set and the moves are set. But in other games, it's like they reload it every chance. It does bring up the question of intended play versus acceptable play, and I think when people make strategy games, they know it's going to happen.
Yeah,
and
they wouldn't if it wasn't intended play, they wouldn't give you the option of saving during a battle.
Exactly, and additionally, they have a mode where you can't do that at all. It auto saves after every turn, and if you lose a mission, it automatically saves. Yeah. It's so people are probably going to save scum on regular mode, but if you don't want to do that and you need that extra push, there's a mode to do that.
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty cool. That's a nice little thing to throw in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do have. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say I want to start up a run of it soon too. After I finish Chimera Squad, it's a very. I like Chimera Squad. The writing's corny, but in a fun way to me. There's some interesting mechanics, and it's like a breezier XCOM so far. I feel like since you only can ever have 4 units, they don't throw as much overwhelming stuff at you.
Yeah, I've been meaning to start that one as well. Bought that after our last episode last week. So, but
it's
other
good.
than that,
it's fun.
I just a quick update on Trials of Mana, because I felt like I was probably a bit harsh on it. What with the whole T-posing in the background thing. I will say it still doesn't it's not obviously going to start looking any better immediately or something, but the more I play it, the more I'm like, yeah, this is fun. It's a fun game. The writing is corny because that's how the writing was in the original. It's very true to the original. Mm-hmm. So that's all I really wanted to bring up, that I never want to poo-poo somebody's hard work, and I'm sure the people who worked on that game worked very, very hard. And, it's still fun.
That's good. I think it's
I'm sure the developers are really glad that you
I'm sure
decided to come back and
yeah, I'm sure they'll appreciate it. But other than that, the only thing that I really had going on this week was D&D stuff.
heck yeah.
Yeah, we all played some. Well, we didn't play,
Some
but we
Dungeons
started to do
and
some D&D.
Dragons.
Yeah, started. This is our third campaign we're starting, which is partially a failure on my part of being probably.
It happens.
It's more like biting off more than I could chew with the former campaigns. Just having there be way too much work to put into preparing for the games. So we're starting up some D&D ass D&D, set in like the default setting. I'm very excited. I've been reading a lot of different books on like how different like pre-made adventures and how to kind of like tie them into my own like ideas that I want to do with the world. So I'm pretty excited. I hope you guys are going to enjoy it once we finally get to start playing this week, actually.
Heck yeah. I'm excited. I'm playing a Kender, which I did not realize
Were a thing.
I read as a child who read the Dragonlance books multiple times before realizing that they are so schlocky. I had experienced Kender characters before, but I didn't realize that was something that I could pull into like a D&D game. So I'm playing a Kender fighter who is like just as sticky-fingered as a Kender should be, and like has a very fight me attitude. I'm very excited about it.
And technically, Kender are really, I think, only in Dragonlance, but I'm making an exception because I love Kender as an idea.
I am playing a half-elf bard lady.
Heck yeah.
Who I made sure will be... Well, I don't know, elves can come in any color, so it'll be a black elf, which is different than a dark elf, because as much as I like... Hey, it's how the world is, I was looking through some of the stuff that dark elves have, or what the hell are they called?
Drow.
I'm tipsy, I forgot. I did know the word drow. But it's like, oh, so they somehow have +1 charisma despite the fact that people hate them and they hate everybody. But I was like, you know what? And then our friend was like, hey, you know what? It's you'd only have to be played that way if you decide to play that way. You don't have to follow them. Like, good point. And then I saw like disadvantage in the sunlight. I'm like, nah, I don't want to deal with that. So I would have taken her advice. Other than I think you have to play the character at least statistically how it's written. Like,
yes, to the rules that it is written. Unfortunately,
I'm like, nah, dog, I'm not doing that. Yeah. But no, I was like, man, fantasy always is kind of weird to me. Like, I like wizards and stuff. Like, I like the Wizard of Legend. I like the motifs of Crypt of the Necrodancer. Even though it's not like straight fantasy, it's still more fantasy than modern worlds. There's magic and things like that. And I like the Zelda games, at least the Zelda setting. I just haven't played really that many Zelda games, so... But fantasy always kind of feels weird to me. There's a lot of discourse this week about... Or maybe it was last week, I don't know, about, like, the racial stuff that's in, like, Dungeons and Dragons. And it's been discourse before in the past. It just popped up again. About how, like, orcs are
coded to be...
They're basically, like black people.
Like savage.
Yeah, they're like always savage. They're dumb. They're like always evil or something. Basically, just a lot of things.
Hard-coded.
Yeah, just stuff like that. And it's like, man, I don't like. This isn't for me, in like a few ways. But a lot of things aren't for me. But also, it's like it's just kind of a lot of the fantasy stuff I see is boring to me. And I get that that's a me problem. Like when people are like, let's watch The Lord of the Rings. I'm like, when are they going to start doing the cool shit that this world lets them do? It's like, well, there's these hobbits. They got to go over there. I'm like, cool. Are they going to use magic? No, actually, the wizards are going to go over there. I'm like, so these are just dudes then? Like, these are just regular-ass dudes. Like, yeah. Like, but they fight monsters. Like, oh, cool. But the monsters are all the bad guys, and they're going to kill them and walk. Like, oh. Which, I'm not trying to shade against, like, Tolkien's work. I know a lot of people like it. And I see
there are many things that were worth shading.
Yeah, that's fair. I meant with the storytelling, not so much the racist stuff in it, but
okay, yeah,
I'm fine talking shit on the fact that there's racist stuff in it. But people are like, well, I like the walking and talking and stuff. I'm like, cool. It's just not for me, So when people are like, let's play D&D, I'm like, do we have like some spin-off stuff like in a more fun setting like Final Fantasy? that tends to like keep my attention better. And like the Monster of the Week was more modern. But for some reason, I'm just like feeling like, yeah, I think this one's gonna work because we have a good group of friends and I'm playing a bard, so it's gonna be a little bit more like role playing, I think.
Yeah, and D&D doesn't have to be the whole like walking and talking style thing. Like there will be more combat oriented puzzles, things like that. Like it's at least that's the idea, because I'm using a lot of like the pre-written adventures. So I'm not having to come up with that stuff myself, which is very time consuming.
Well, it's weird. I like walking and talking me. I don't like to watch it.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's weird. Fair. But I think the mistake I made the first few times I played standard D&D was trying to play a character that was vaguely like me. So I was kind of not getting lost in the character, but just kind of like, oh, okay, I got to know how to play this game.
Yeah.
But like the one where we did the Final Fantasy one, I liked even the gameplay, even though I missed all the time. So I'm like, I'll be a half-elf lady who's a bard, so I can do the more fun role-playing stuff.
Being completely honest, going back and looking at some of the stats I was using for the Final Fantasy setting, because I was having to come up with all the enemies myself, finally like reading through multiple monster manuals now, like in closer detail, I'm like, man, I was giving you guys way too hard of things to fight. So, my bad. It was really that I was just adjusting the armor classes too high, so everyone was missing too much. So that was kind of the problem.
But that's the thing, I've played before, and it feels like those things happened then too. So I'm like, yeah, this is just D&D. What's different like about it?
Yeah, but that is true. Either way, like, I'm excited to be able to say like, hey, there are 3 skeletons. I know exactly what those are. Here they are. Like, things like that. For me, at least, it's a big relief to not have to do that stuff myself.
Yeah, I don't want to blame you for my dice being garbage though. Because I've played a few times and I'm still superstitious about my dice. They're not poorly made. I just think they're trash and they hate me.
Well, we'll find out this Wednesday when we actually get to do the first campaign. So I'm looking forward to it.
I'm excited.
I've read more of those books than I possibly ever have in the past. So 5th edition is really interesting. That's the main reason I wanted to read through everything was I am less familiar with 5th edition than I am with others. So wanting to refamiliarize myself with like the way different combat mechanics and things worked was the reason for buying 7 books and reading through all of them in the weekend. So hopefully it'll be a more fun experience this time around.
I'm excited. I think that a fighter is where my brain wants to be in terms of like simplistic like role and like role play kind of stuff. So I'm excited for that.
The only thing I'm kind of upset about is now that I've read through a couple of these additional books, I have like additional character options for you guys that weren't originally present because we didn't have the PDFs of them, but now I do have them. But I also don't want to be like, here, remake your characters.
We can look at some stuff like the day before. I think a lot of us have some free time.
Probably.
That's true.
But yeah, that's all it for me. Sorry, I feel like I just talked for half the show.
No, you didn't. It's all good. Thanks for caring, though.
Yeah, we all talk. We're all just kind of rambling on this show. It's
a podcast.
That's how a podcast do.
Anyway, it's these sweet drinks I've been having.
Yeah.
My beer is gone. I'm not.
Oh yeah, my drink is gone.
Not feeling it anymore.
My 8% drink. But yeah, no. So that leaves pretty much just the shows, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So we meant to talk about it.
Time, hey?
We are. Spoiler alert to us. We forgot to talk about the other news, and it's kind of like movies and shows, and that's Hercules.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot more rumors going around now that they're trying to cast a live action Hercules movie, or they're going to do one, and people are coming up with their fantasy castings, which I think is fun.
The fantasy casting thing is fun. I think that Disney needs to fucking chill.
Yeah, on the live action stuff.
On live action stuff, because none of it's ever going to be as enjoyable as the actual animated thing.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's coming from me as somebody who doesn't really even enjoy Disney films.
Like, it just saps the life out of, like obviously The Lion King is an extreme example, but, like,
But I think it's a perfect example because it still technically was like animated, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a live action film that was just all CGI. So it's like, why did you do this in the first place?
Just like I mean, like I've heard, I don't know how much veracity there is to this, but like I've heard the like theory that that people are like that Disney is trying to run like a kind of a copyright scam, basically.
That makes
Essentially,
sense.
probably.
With their live action movies, because by like doing what's essentially a shot for shot recreation of their existing animated movies, like it extends the copyright somehow, and like our copyright system is already just bonkers fucked up, and it's Disney's fault.
Exactly. Like they're just continuing their whole scheme of just completely fucking over the copyright system just so that they can continue to print money.
Yeah, and so like that, like, so I don't know how much truth there is, like legal truth there is to that concept, but I also don't doubt it.
The Sony Marvel movies are pretty much like the exact. There's a lot of times when there's examples of that, and I'm willing to believe that, but Disney's making them so they're in this weird position where they need to make their product quality so that people don't get pissed off at them. But like, for instance, Tony Hawk 5 was like the game barely worked, but because that was like a copyright.
But it had T-Pain in it.
I didn't know that. That's the best part about it. You know, like when they released that Fantastic Four movie and stuff like, or like the Spider-Man movies are coming out from Sony. Like a lot of that is just to extend their copyrights or their deals, not necessarily their copyrights. So stuff like that is just really sketchy. Whereas Disney's making mediocre films. Like they're not awful. They're not great.
Oh yeah, they're not terrible. They're just boring.
Yeah, like the Aladdin movie, there was actually some changes about the Aladdin movie I liked. Not that they paid off necessarily well. But that movie could have been good. Like, Will Smith as Genie was, like, actually, like, that's a good person to do it. They just didn't let him be Will Smith. This is, I think I'm getting this from Sideways on YouTube or somebody else. But they wanted Will Smith to do Robin Williams.
To be Robin Williams, yeah.
That's not fair. Nobody can do that.
Yeah, that's not fair to either of them.
But, like, a comedic kind of, like, hey, remember Fresh Prince? Like, fun 90s approach dude? Will Smith could have killed that role if they're like, hey, let's write this role for Will Smith instead of Robin Williams. And you could see a few times where he was kind of getting into the role, but it looks like he was held back from going all out on it. But no, they do need to chill with these, but I think a live-action Hercules could be fun. These movies all could work. I don't know why they're not working. Like, it's Disney. They have infinite money. They made the Avengers work. Like, they didn't make the Avengers, but if the Avengers can work, there's no reason why, like, Beauty and the Beast shouldn't be fun. There's no reason.
Yeah.
If they can make Detective Pikachu work and the Sonic movie somehow not be garbage, there's no reason why Disney can't make Beauty and the Beast be like a pretty good movie live action, you know?
Yeah.
I fucked up. It was Lil Wayne who was in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5.
Oh shit.
That's way
this
worse.
Is your second time being wrong on the internet.
That's way funnier though. Like I believe T-Pain because I would believe that T-Pain would want to be in a game. Like he streams sometimes. It
was Lil Wayne and Tyler the Creator.
Tyler the Creator actually makes sense because he like used to skateboard and stuff with his whole crew. He's had a weird career arc. Went from being like saying all kinds of homophobic like shock radio stuff to being like people like he might be a queer guy and like making really like cerebral music where people are like, what happened? This is pretty cool actually. No, T-Pain was flexing on the timeline the other day about how his wife didn't have enough bells on her island, so he went and gave her a whole bunch or something like that.
I saw that.
I saw that too.
It's a great guy. That said, it is still fun to fantasy cast. And I've seen people say that Danny DeVito should reprise his role as Phil, which I'm all for if they're going to do it.
Fully.
Absolutely.
But I don't know what other castings to have. I've seen a lot of bad casts, but they need to nail the muses, in my opinion. Because that'll show, like, where their hearts are at.
Yeah.
And you gotta pick, like, a good...
You gotta get a really good Hades.
Yeah.
Good Hades, and the muses need to be 5 black women.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Like, you need to at least get that much down. Like, and they can't be, like, the lightest black women you can find. Because that'll, like, look bad, too. That said, though, it's easy to be done. They're out there.
They're out there. They're good at singing.
Yeah.
Hell, like, the 5 women who played the muses originally are... Like, LaChanze is still out there performing. Like, I saw her on Broadway, like, last year.
Oh, that'd be a good get. Like, that would look really cool for, like, the... Like, look cool for optics, even if they, like... got somebody that would still fill the role. It'd be cool to be like, hey, we get some of the muses back. That would actually be cool.
Yeah.
And
like,
then
combo of like stunt casting. Like, I mean, I don't know if Beyonce would come back to Disney after being in Lion King.
Yeah,
or like
this
come
would
back
actually
to another voice role, because this would kind of be a demotion almost.
to do a voice role.
No, I mean like to be a muse, like one of 5 muses after being.
It would be a demotion, but it would be like more in line with what she actually does.
Yeah.
True.
It'd be like your role was demoted, but like people look at this more highly than voice acting, which not saying they should or shouldn't, but I think that's something that's true. And it'd be like, you're taking a step back, taking a step forward. It's fine.
Do you think?
Go ahead.
Do you think that if they do the muses and they do this whole thing, are the muses animated because they're on the pots, or are they like, do they actually make them live people performing?
That's fair. That's a good point. I would say,
Yeah,
no if we weren't in the society we're in, like, if racism wasn't real,
right?
You say it to me every time. It's very
I'm sorry,
good.
I can't help it.
It's very good. No, if I was saying if racism didn't exist somehow, I'd say definitely just keep them like animated, like on the side of the pots, like kind of do like an alternate art style to make it look like clay pot work.
Yeah.
But since we live in the world we do, I'd say maybe not. Maybe do like a live action CGI type thing. I don't know.
I feel like there would be
That's
some
tough.
sort of, like, a bit of outcry about, I mean, like, first of all, tying back to, like, how weird-looking blue Will Smith genie was, but also to, like, the ongoing and, like, completely valid discourse about, like, making black characters into, like, animals or animated people.
Yeah,
and not letting them
casting them as
black on
human
screen.
beings. Yeah.
Well, I'd say kind of, if I recall correctly, do it how the movie did it and have them like cartoony and animated when they're moving on the side of a pot or like on a painting, but when they're coming out to do like songs, like kind of like in Zero to Hero when they're singing like.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if that happened in the film or not, but now that I think about
I think it does.
Yeah.
So yeah,
but I haven't seen that movie in so long. I have no idea.
I haven't seen that movie in weeks. I'd say, yeah, if they're animated in that part of the movie, like if they're on the side of something, keep it like that, and then give them a live action presence when they get to. And they're probably going to add another song anyhow, so it's fine. Have them do live action in the song they add. It's fine. And then someone said Tom Hiddleston for Hades. That could work.
That could work.
That's all right.
Or Jeff
That's
Goldblum
right.
or something, I'm thinking
That'd be weird, but okay.
Since James Woods did such a good job, he sucks now. Let's just use Willem Dafoe. He's basically James Woods. He was the Green Goblin. Spider-Man, come here. But you guys want to talk about that a little bit?
No, yeah. I mean, like, that's ultimately, like, I just feel, like, so exhausted by the idea of another live-action remake of like, a movie that was perfect in the genre that it was.
Yeah.
And like, there's like a larger conversation to be had that I feel like we may have had, at least with a guest on a podcast at some point, about like both the value of understanding that something is the right medium as is, but also the value of adapting something and actually fucking adapting it, as opposed to just trying to make a super faithful shot for shot, like.
Yeah, there's no need to do a shot for shot when you can like utilize the medium for what it is and do something new.
I think a lot of it will depend on how Mulan hasn't come out yet, right?
Right, it was supposed to come out this year.
Yeah, but I want a lot of like the hope for a Hercules live action would kind of hinge on how the Mulan live action.
That's a good point, because that's a bit of a departure from the movie. Like, it's not a musical anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not a musical. They cut bisexual icon Li Shang out of the story, like, so.
which is a crime against American culture, but is fair to like Chinese culture. So I'll give them that one. But if it was shot for shot, I'd be pissed. Yeah, I think that will have a big impact over whether or not there's a Hercules one. They better not stop before Princess and the Frog, though, because that'll look even more bad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what would be next? Like, would Would they be daring enough to make Pocahontas? Like,
no, I think they've just erased that from like their canon. Like they don't mess with that anymore unless they absolutely need to have all the princesses together.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's like a question of like because they keep kind of dipping back and forth between like Disney Renaissance and like Disney classics. Like they haven't done a straightforward Sleeping Beauty. They just did Maleficent.
Or Snow White.
Yeah. Well,
like,
who did Snow White and the Huntsman? Who was that?
Somebody else.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Somebody with a lot of money for really cool costumes, but not
and bad
great
writing.
Screenwriting.
Yeah.
So cosplayers.
Yeah.
Let's move on to some TV shows. Does that sound good to y'all?
Yeah,
No.
let's do it.
So before
yes.
Yes, and Eric.
So before we get into like our real topic of the discussion of DuckTales, I just want to let y'all know that I've been watching Brand New Animal, BNA. It's a anime from Studio Trigger.
The furry anime.
I would say the furry anime, but it's a furry anime because
there's also
Beastars.
Beastars going on right now, yeah.
Which I didn't watch, but which seems kind of alright. But no, Brand New Animal's pretty cool. Like most of the episodes so far seem to end with a wolf beating the shit out of a bunch of other animal people. But it's pretty cool. The main character's like a cute character. She's like, she'd recently just turned into like a beast person, and she wasn't always like that. And then I guess it's spoilers for like what's going to happen, but she's just a character who kind of wants to just figure out like what's going on with her life. And there's a wolf who like protects the city, and there are people that can turn back and forth between people and animals. So it's fun. I don't know if there's any theme to it. How Beastars, a lot of people are saying, oh, you know, there's some, it's like Zootopia vibes of like predator versus prey class, whereas Zootopia was about people through a metaphor of animals. Beastars kind of seems to be like about animals. Like the predator and prey are literally predator and prey, and like, no, you can't eat people, like it's bad. So we have but they don't seem to be like in a different class other than like, yo, we wish you wouldn't eat us anymore. Like, yo, we're trying to stop.
You can eat people according to Alex Jones, though.
Well, you can eat people in one way according to Alex Jones.
He's gonna eat your ass, Tom.
Captain Ass Eater over there. Oh man, that man would be hilarious if he wasn't like a terrifying example of like how far society has fallen.
Absolutely. To any listeners who are not familiar with him, I cannot recommend listening to him. What I can recommend listening to is Knowledge Fight, which makes fun of him. Knowledge Fight's a podcast. I'm plugging them right now for free. Taking up our airspace for them. Sorry, you two.
It's all good. We're not giving to Alex Jones, so it's all good.
Yeah.
But he says a lot of shit that just is bad and doesn't make sense.
Yep, absolutely.
All that said, Brand New Animal's fun. Doesn't seem to be going for any greater message other than, like, maybe humans are dickheads to animals, which, like, okay, cool. Like, thanks, Studio Trigger. Like, it seems like
there's... figured that one out.
I mean, they also brought us, were they Trigger when they brought us Panty and Stocking? I think I was still Guy Next at the time. But they did bring us Kill la Kill and Space Patrol Luluco. So, I mean... And Promare, right?
Yep.
There's a guy in Brand New Animal who looks like a Promare character. I'll send it to you when I don't have to talk, so I can't type over it. But it's fun, and the character designs are cool.
Before you get to explain to me what is currently going on in DuckTales, I will just mention that I am continuing to watch Thunderbolt Fantasy. And it is continuing to be some of the weirdest shit I have ever seen.
In what way?
Well, like the plot, I'm starting to at least understand what's going on in the plot, but like recently, like one of the recent episodes, they're like, we have to assemble a team to go into this like cursed land, and we need a necromancer. I'm like, okay, well that implies that necromancy is a thing, okay. Also, good. She's a demon. Oh, okay. Who I fought in the last Great Demon War or whatever it was, and you're like, what the fuck even is any of that?
You just said a lot of words.
Just a lot of weird stuff, but I still would, beg of people to at least give it a shot just to see the costume design and the way that they do the action. It's very interesting.
Awesome.
That does look like a Promare character.
I've sent the photo over, and just so you know, he does wear I think we'd call it a choker, but it's definitely just a collar, because he's a wolf man. Anyway, in our ongoing series of recaps, DuckTales had another episode this week.
Heck yeah.
Teach me of the Tales of the Duck.
The Tales of the Duck.
It was an anime episode.
Yeah, it was just anime.
Twitter told me that.
So, remember how we told you Mark Zuckerberg had a robot kid?
Yes.
Turns
Yeah,
out
I remember that.
he didn't make that robot. He found that robot in the dump. Luckily, it was also an owl, so it looked like he made it. Retcons are fun, probably.
Wait, I never knew Mark Zuckerberg was an owl.
Yeah, he's not a duck. He's like an owl bird. There's lots of birds. You gotta keep up, man. There's tons of birds.
Okay.
So many birds.
But anyway, so this kid is a junior woodchuck with Huey, and Huey's getting made fun of for acting robotic, and he immediately makes friends with the one person who legitimately is a robot. His name is Boyd. He starts malfunctioning, so Huey takes him to go see Gizmo Duck and Dr. Gearloose, who are like, "Oh shit, why do you have this robot?"
I know this robot.
We gotta fix him. He's like, "Oh, when's the last time you saw him?" He's like, "Back in Tokyo." It's like, oh,
which took me a minute, like, until I saw it written down to be like, oh, there's the bird pun. So I was like, oak, like O-A-K. Like, I was like, what does a tree have to do with ducks? And then I realized that it was yolk, like an egg yolk.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, how do you spell egg yolk? Like Y-O-K-E?
Y-O-L-K.
Y-O-L-K. Okay, so it is Tokyo yolk?
Tokyo, yeah.
Okay, cool. I thought I was just hearing stuff. Cool.
No, yeah, but they don't, like, I mean, like, it's like folk, like, where you don't actually pronounce the L that hard.
So it's basically, the only time they go to other countries if it's just Scotland, which exists, because they're Scottish people, unless they're going to call it Scot something else.
Yeah,
and
they've
bird
never...
places.
Yeah, all the other places have bird pun names.
So far we've been to Mozambique, but they spell it like beak, B-E-A-K.
All right.
You know, birds. Mm-hmm. And now turkey yolk. Turkey yolk. Like yolk. And then we start to see like anime references, like there's a Sailor Moon bunny. There's pigs and dogs here, so it's a lot more diverse than that gentrified duckburg.
Duckburg.
I saw something that looked like Lupin the Third, and it made me happy.
I'm sure you did. I didn't catch it at the time, but I'm sure it exists. And it's kind of like go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, yeah, there are just like so many anime like Easter eggs, but also they like went and did the work, and like all of the signs were actually Japanese, like, and the correct kind of thing, like that should be on, like it said panya for like a bakery, or like cafe for like in katakana for cafe, like they were actually doing the like every single sign was in real Japanese, which I feel like is an extra level of work that they didn't have to do, but it's cool they did. So
that was pretty cool. So yeah, there was a Lupin the Third dog there, and apparently he did make a camo in like the first episode, like with his like hat and stuff. So apparently this is a character that just exists in this world, but yeah, there was a Lupin the Third duck a few times in this episode. Like I said, there's a Sailor Moon bunny. There's a lot of frames that kind of look like Astro Boy, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean the episode is called Astro Boyd, because the dog's name is Boyd, or the robot boy owl.
Yeah,
the name is Boyd.
And they go to a cat cafe, which is pretty cool.
A bunch of shrines and all sorts of stuff.
What's Gyro Duck's name? What's his actual name?
Gizmo Duck? Fenton Crackshell Cabrera.
Yeah. So Fenton, he just instead of using his full catchphrase to put on the Gizmo Duck suit, he just used the beginning, which gives him just the arm, which is pretty cool. Like, oh, we got Stark Tech over here. Okay. So yeah, I mean, it was pretty cool. They're just trying to fight the...
Yeah, so it turns out that this Astro Boy... it's very much like, if you know anything about the actual Astro Boy, like, lore, I guess is a word that I could use. It's about, like, the premise is that there was this scientist who created this boy that was supposed to be a human boy, and but he became a weapon, and, apparently, Dr. Gearloose used to be an intern for this doctor. His name is Dr. Akita, and is just an Akita. Like,
that was a funny joke.
Yeah, like, the only clearly, like, I guess kind of, like, breeded dog character that I feel like I've seen Like, I guess, like, the Beagle Boys are beagles, but they don't super look like beagles, you know?
I don't know what a beagle looks like. I was about to say, I think that I was about to say the words, and I'm glad you stopped me, but I'm going to tell them myself. I was going to say, the Beagle Boys look like pugs or bulldogs. And like, wait a minute.
They look specifically like beagles, though, because beagles have those big old floppy ears.
Yeah, I think, did the original Beagle Boys look more like beagles?
But,
yeah, the original beagles kind of have floppier ears, but they just changed them to, like, look better, I guess? A different character design. I don't know. This fits. Those guys wouldn't have worked with the new art direction.
Yeah. But yeah, so they have to prove that Boyd is more than just his programming, and we get, like, a little bit of a, like...
I know you're in there.
Like, I know you're deep down inside, you're good kind of thing. But also the detective who is, like, chasing them down because Dr. Gearloose, who used to be an intern to this other doctor, is, like, on, like, the shit list with the Tokyo police.
Yeah, for making a robot that destroyed the city.
Yeah. And her name is Tezuka, which is the name of the guy who made Astro Boy. Osamu Tezuka is, like, the king of Japanese, of, like, the father of Japanese manga. Like, and the reason that people draw, like, big anime eyes, like, because he was inspired by Disney.
Yeah. Also, yeah, I'm gonna paste it in the group chat, but this Sailor Moon just straight up is Sailor Moon. Like, no.
Oh yeah, she's very much Sailor Moon.
No airs were put on, and she's on, like, billboards and stuff, and the villain has, like, posters of her in his lair.
That Lupin and Zenigata are pretty spot on as well.
Yeah, they had a lot of fun, I think, making this episode.
Oh, for sure. And then I forget what the art style is called. I was looking at a thread yesterday. But it's about, like, the anime style of, like, the tracking shots of shooting missiles and following the missiles through the air. They did that whole sequence. I just saw it yesterday, and I can't remember what it's called because I never actually knew. But it was a very anime-ass episode. Like, the fight between Gizmo Duck and Boyd while he's gone rogue for a minute because robots.
There's a lot of, like, kind of yelling.
Yeah, like... And he even did, like, the teleport thing they do in Dragon Ball Z when they're real fast, like, teleport to you. Like, there was just a lot of,
like,
you know, they like what they did.
Yeah, there was one bit that... So Lin-Manuel Miranda plays the voice of Gizmo Duck, a.k.a. Fenton.
Which is also a very weird thing that, like, you made the most famous musical in the world. What are you doing now? I am Fenton Crackshell Cabrera.
Yeah, like... But, he, I was, like, laughing internally in, like, a weird, like, no one's gonna get this, but I need to bring it up kind of, like, know-it-all joke, but, so Boyd's original name, like, as a robot was 2BO, and, like, so in the big fight scene between, Boyd and Gizmo Duck, there's a point where he goes, 2BO! Like, really, like, loud, like in that anime kind of way, and I don't know when they recorded this, but presuming that they're under any sort of situation like they were with My Hero, where they're, like, recording stuff from quarantine,
closets.
Yeah, from, like, closets and shit. I was like, his poor dog is gonna be so confused because his dog's name is Tobio, and, like, her dad's just yelling.
He probably, like, I bet you he went home and was like, I said this lie, I'm gonna say it again at home.
Yeah, like...
This is the kind of stuff that I would do. I don't know.
But yeah, so it was a really fun episode, like, lots of Easter eggs that I was, like, my roommate after I finished was like, you know, you've given this such a glowing review that I might actually start watching it.
She should. It's really
like,
good.
the first animated show that because almost all I watch is animated stuff, like, she was like, oh, like, you know, like, you've recommended this, but maybe I'll actually start watching it, as opposed to, like, all the other ones that it's just like, oh, I'm gonna watch this.
That's
like,
awesome.
I'm glad you enjoy this, but it's not for me, kind of thing.
So I think that the flourish is called the Itano Circus. That's what they call it. Like the missiles and tracking shot and stuff like that. So I just had to look for why you were talking about cartoons. For the audience.
For the audience. For the fans.
For the fans.
Band.
For the band. Scott Pilgrim, underrated movie still. Edgar Wright's a great director.
I'm pretty sure it was never underrated. Pretty sure it was always rated pretty highly.
But people didn't see it though. It bombed in the box office, and people don't talk
true.
about it. Other than the time that Kim drops the R bomb, I'd say it's pretty straightforwardly good movie. But I'll give that as part of the time. It's bad, but you know. Anyway, that's it, right?
That's all
I
I
think
got.
that's everything. Yeah.
Yo, we did it, fam. We had
did another
drinks,
episode.
we had chat, we had ducks,
Y'all
dogs,
had
and
drinks, I
owls.
had water.
That's a drink.
It did not alter my state of mind. Just
It prevented an altered state. Haha.
the
science.
high of spending time with friends.
Yeah.
Don't you mean hydration?
Oh my god.
The high of dration.
Gotta end this.
End this before we end ourselves.
What's
That's
going on
fair.
this next week? What's give the people a taste of what's to come.
I don't know. Vocaloid
Probably,
stuff. That's
probably an
what-
asteroid will hit. Like, honestly,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, we got D&D, and next week was when I was supposed to go see Hatsune Miku live, and I don't get to anymore. So,
Eric,
so-
look at the bright side. We record these on Sundays,
yep.
and we've waited a long time, but it's Sunday night again. And you know what comes out tonight?
No.
Rick and Morty comes out tonight.
Oh,
New
my
episode.
favorite show.
Your favorite show.
Oh, man.
Oh wait, hold on.
so glad.
That reminded me of that stupid ass, the new pickle Rick meme. Funny shit I ever heard. And apparently, like Johnny Test came back.
It's like the... Yeah.
And in the back, there's like 20 Johnnies in the intro card, and one of them's like a Powerpuff Girls one, one's like a Steven Universe one, and one's a pickle. And people are like, guys, there's Pickle Johnny, funniest shit I've ever seen.
Oh my god.
And that meme is way funnier than anything that's ever come up. Like the Bayonetta one, Jean, he turns himself into a pickle. Funniest shit I've ever seen is the pinnacle of comedy for me. I'll never recover. But you know, there will be that. Like you said, we're playing D&D. This would have been the weekend, next weekend, right?
Yep. So, look forward to me ranting a little bit about some Vocaloid. I'm going to teach you guys some stuff.
Yeah, we should talk
Learn.
about Vocally this week.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm happy to.
also tomorrow and a few days ago when you listen to this is May the 4th. So May the 4th be with you.
Be with you.
And that and all that good stuff. Hope you got your It's Gonna Be May jokes out there. Hope you listened to First of May by Jonathan Colton. You know,
Hope you struck against Amazon, Target, Instacart, etc.
Yeah.
I did. I didn't watch any Twitch that day either.
Truly,
I
it's
mean, or
alarming the
stream.
reach. The
Yeah.
reach is like, I was like, oh yeah, you know, you shouldn't be using Goodreads or IMDb or like, it's like, god damn it.
Well,
Yeah,
also,
it's a lot.
if you really look at it though, like people who use Amazon Web Services are like, there's a far more reaching stuff that even has like a company by
Yeah, like-
Amazon in it. Like,
They
Yeah.
run they do the like little TVs in our elevator at work have ads for Amazon Web Service.
they
Like
have
do
a
the MTA and shit. Like
there's a far reach. Like one of your favorite
It's
websites.
very hard to... Yeah, it's very hard to boycott them.
But the best we can
very,
do
very
is, you know, boycott their services that we actively participate in knowingly. So, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, this was in
we
the
did the best
past.
we could.
I did the best I could. I didn't stream, even though my schedule is starting to shake out to be like Monday, Tuesday, Friday. I'm like, you know what? I'm not big enough that I'm missing a meal from this, and it's still literally the least I can do. But I also won't watch streams, or we didn't shop or anything like that. So,
Yeah.
but hey, we want
Okay,
to
well,
finish with the social media biz.
yeah, I can do that. So if you want to find us on the internet, you can do that. You can find me at Captain Steph on Twitter, at the Snow Queer on Tumblr, and at Hella Steph on Instagram. You can find Eric at Tindy Losi on Twitter. You can find Dom at Brother Dom anywhere he wants to be found on the internet. You can find our podcast in a variety of locations. You can find it on the podcast catcher of your choice. And if that catcher gives you the opportunity to rate and review, it'd be awesome if you did that. If you want to listen to us in your browser, you can do that by going to characterreveal.simplecast.fm. And let's see, if you want to follow us on Facebook, you can do that by just searching for Character Reveal. You'll see the blue curtains, you know what's up. You can find us on Twitter at Character Rev. It's Character REV, 2 R's in the middle. We're going to try to be a little bit more active on there, engaged. So check it out. And let's see, you can find us on Instagram, where we post clips for all of our shows. And that is Character Reveal.
Yes, it's good stuff. We should take some other photos for that. Maybe show them what our quarantine looks are.
Oh yeah. Long hair with 4 inches of root, because I was supposed to get my hair re-dyed the week after we went into quarantine. I guess in fairness that at least I didn't spend $200 to get my hair re-dyed to sit in my apartment where no one could see it.
Exactly.
That's a good take. Hey, and you didn't go protest for the right to get a haircut.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah.
I know a hairdresser, person we went to high school. She worked on movies and stuff before, and she was like, hey, I think that my work is very important, and it gives people a lot of sense of feeling and being, but we're not essential. It's gonna be very hard when we have to open back up. There's gonna be so much. So and she's stop trying to say that we are essential workers.
Yeah.
We provide a service that makes people feel good, and they are important. I think people who provide entertainment or beauty or stuff like that are important, but we shouldn't be forcing them to go back just because some people want a haircut.
And all of this dumb essential worker shit is about I want to be provided with a service. It's not I want to go back to my job. It's I want the poors to go back to their job so that they can continue to provide me with a service.
Yeah, it's a shame.
So
it is.
But hey, we're still bringing you content. We're doing our best. We're trying to help each other out. A lot of people are following things. No matter what it's going to take, we're going to get through this one way or another. Hopefully we get through it in the safest way possible. But
Stay inside.
Stay inside. Keep on washing your hands. Keep on wearing masks. If we do the best we can, good things can happen. But until next time, listeners, thank you so much for listening. If you made it this far, we really appreciate you. We love you. As fans and as listeners, we don't know you personally. We don't want to be weird or creepy. We're going to end this.
I love all of you individually.
Ooh.
Romantically and sexually.
We're going to end this episode how we started, with some clapping. So.
Hell yeah. Let's clap. Let's do that stupid thing of clapping for the essential workers. No, sorry.
Hey,
That's stupid, but carry on.
Thanks again, y'all.
Pay
but until
more.
Yes, do that. But until next time, see you later.
Bye.
Goodbye.
That sounded like a question. Bye.
I'm clicking stop now.